There is power in a story, and we all have a story. Our stories, if told, can inspire, encourage, and motivate. Hi, I am Rhonda, and welcome to the Book of Lives. Hi everyone, welcome to the Book of Lives. Today we're going to be chatting with Dominican author Miss Annette. Annette, welcome.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me.
So Annette, on the Book of Lives, we are all about stories, and stories have a beginning. Tell us, where does your story begin? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Caribbean island of Dominica, not to be confused with Dominican Republic. We get that a lot. It's English and actually French Creole or Patois. Yeah. So I was born there, and ever since I was a little girl, I loved to read and I loved books. And then I used to do little short stories, and the only person I knew was my mother. I never shared it with anybody else because I didn't think it was that serious. But I just had a love for reading. I just don't know. I just would read and read, and I would go home on weekends and Saturdays especially. I would go in my room after I play around and stuff and go and get some books and just have a whole bunch of books and read. And then my mother would come looking for me, and then she'd be like, "Annette, where are you?" And then after I read, I'd fall asleep. I'd take a nap.
Growing up, Annette, did you want to be a writer?
I don't know. It wasn't something you heard people talk about. Like, I was just a normal kid, running around, playing in trees. But all I know, apart from playing with my friends, I loved reading. I couldn't explain it. I'm adopted. So my mother died at birth, and I never knew my father growing up. So I was adopted from birth. So I really don't know if my mother, my siblings, well, I know my siblings by mother, but I don't know who liked to read. Like, I would devour the books, I'm telling you. My mother liked to read, my adopted mother, but I don't know if it was that intense. Like, for me, it was really intense. And on the island, we didn't have libraries really, like, unfortunately. So it was of my neighbor's father worked in a bookstore, and she would get books from the bookstore, and that's how I end up getting books at my age when I was younger.
Okay.
When I was younger. But when I got older, I was still doing the same thing and buying books. I used to buy books. Mother used to give me Christmas money, and pretty much that was it.
So Annette,
it really helped me.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it really helped my vocabulary. My vocabulary was really big, and I remember some of my one of my friends would be like, "Break it down, Annette. Break it down. Break it down." So it did help. I got to learn a lot of different things. Reading taught me in so many different ways. I learned a lot of things from reading, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah.
So your books focus on coming of age issues. Why focus on those issues?
I don't know. I'm a nanny. Apart from an author, I'm a nanny, and when I was a kid, I was like a tomboy. There was a lot of adventures, growing up in the Caribbean, and then when I came up here doing babysitting, being a nanny, kids have a lot of adventures and a lot of stories. And my children's book, Sammy's Curious Adventure, it's kind of based on a true story. There's so many, stories that kids have, including myself. I don't know. I feel like I gravitate younger to the younger crowd. Better, to the younger crowd, I feel like. And then my nannying jobs really helped me to learn more about kids. I don't have any of my own, and so I learned again, and it's basically the same no matter where you are. All of us have the same mindset as kids, the same. Think you can hide behind me and lie, or like try to do kind of crazy things, and I'm like, I did that already, I know about that. It's fun writing for them. And then the thing I do a lot with my kids as a nanny, I read a lot of books for them. And because I do that, I don't know, I see the way they gravitate to the reading, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel I can respond better with kids, writing stories for kids, because I see the way the intention span is there. Especially I make it animated. When I'm reading, I have like so much like different voices and like the characters, and I think I love doing that. And so my mind has a lot of stories in it, and I just like all of it is for fun and adventure.
So you mentioned the book Sammy's Curious Adventure. What issue does that book focus on? Lovely, great.
Yeah, Sammy is about a very curious bunny. And again, it's kind of based on a true story. This kid I took care of when he was 6 years old, and we went to the park like we normally do. And he and his friend, there's an area that has a lot of grassy, like trees and a lot of grassy area. And so the boys, so they like to go in there, jump over the fence and go in there. And I allowed them to do it. It was safe. And so when we were about to leave, he had something in his hand, and I asked him what it was, and he said it was a lighter. No, he didn't know. Sorry, I saw it was a lighter, and I was like, and he was like flicking it, but it was empty. So thank God. And I'm like, I told him, it's dangerous. This is dangerous. You shouldn't be playing with that. If you light it up, and there's fire, fire comes out, and then it can burn you. And he was like shocked. He didn't know. And I was like, you know what? You just get rid of that. And then he threw it away. He threw it, and then I explained to him again the danger of fires, and then when he went home later on, when his mom came home, I told his mom, and she told him the same thing I did. And then I was in a writing class. And we had to do a fable. I felt like that would be a nice fable, because a fable is supposed to tell you a meaning, like it's supposed to have a meaning. So if you play with fire, you'll get burned. That was the fable. That was my fable ending. And so I don't know. I just said to myself, why don't I make that into a story, a children's story? So I told my teacher at the time, and she said, well, expand on the story, extend on it, because it was shorter than that. And I did. And then Eric, my illustrator, Eric Hutchinson, my illustrator, I had met him some years ago, and he's into this type of things, graphics and writing and stuff like that. And he told me whenever I'm ready to do something, let him know, because I was writing certain stuff, like I didn't really share with much people, and that's how Sammy just came about. And then we started working on the Sammy in 2018, 2019, and that's how Sammy came.
So you have a second book coming out soon. Tell us about that book. What's the name and what's the story?
That's my first novel.
Oh, it's a novel. Oh, my bad.
It's a novel. It's a fictional novel. It's my first one. I did Sammy. Sammy's a picture book, and I did a short story, but I'd never done a novel. A novel is like over 50,000 words. Didn't think I could pull that off, and I did. My novel is over 80,000 words, which is perfect. Yeah, and it's kind of based in the Caribbean. I kind of had to change, because I did it as a fictional novel. I had to change the characters, the place. I didn't give the place a name, but I know some people that know my country or know me will know the areas I'm talking about, but that's up to them. I change it up. It's kind of about me, the story, but I did put some stuff in there. I added stuff that didn't happen. That's why the whole point is fictional novel. There's stuff in there that I added myself to make it more interesting to the reader, to give that a little bit of a,
you added some flair to it. You added some flair.
Yeah, it's kind of raw. It's a young adult now, and I'm a Christian, but I had to do it like that. It's a little raw. I did it like that because I felt like, even when with my editors, certain things I didn't want to say it on paper.
Yes.
But the way that I put it, it wasn't sounding right. So one of my editors told me, what are you trying to say?
Yes.
If you want, put it like it is, or don't put it,
Yes.
So as a Christian person, it was a little ticklish for me. But I had to do it because some of it is based on actual events. Yes. But like I said, I changed, because it's not a memoir, it's not an autobiography. I had to change the names, the scenes, everything. Plus I added stuff in it. So it's a little bit raw, but it's I think everybody can relate to it. As women, we've been through stuff in life, in relationships, when we're young, had boyfriends, and we've been through stuff. So it's kind of a little bit raw, and it's a little bit relatable. And so a lot of people are going to be like, Annette, wow.
Annette, what's the name of the book?
It's called Nola's Metamorphosis.
Okay.
Metamorphosis. So it's kind of like she started off a baby. From the time she came she was born, she had a hard time, or from the time she got here on earth, she had a hard time. But she did have a loving mother, but she did have some challenging times, that certain things she kept a secret. She didn't share with anybody. She handled it on her own at a young age, which was very difficult. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people keep things inside, myself included. Don't say how we feel, especially when you're a teenager and you notice you're different from everybody else. How do you talk to somebody about that?
Tell me, what are some of the lessons that you've learned? Because I know this has been a journey for you, right? What are some of the lessons you've learned?
Just, oh my gosh, I've learned I'm not the only person struggling out there.
Well, that's a good thing. We're all in this together.
I used to think like, I would like put my book on Amazon and then woo, it just like blow up in sales and whatever. And so when I joined other groups with other authors, and their books are good children books too. Some of the books are really good. And everybody has kind of the same kind of situation. Next, not like you struggling. Like I don't expect to become a millionaire from this. I'm not no Michelle Obama or nobody. Celebrities that make the money from writing books. We kind of just what we do now, we help each other. Like I will have people that I don't know, but they see my name, my book from the groups, and they'll message me on Facebook, and they'll be like, Annette, could you do you want to read my book, and could you leave a review, and then I will ask the same, or they will say, I saw your book, I read it, and we want to read mine, want to review it, and it helps. And Amazon allows that.
Yes.
Amazon allows that, so then the more reviews you have, your book gets higher up on the list.
Yes.
It can reach bestseller, and my genre is kind of a broad genre because it's family education, literacy, like that. So it's a little bit broader. So it's like, it's harder for me as opposed to a person maybe write a poetry book or probably write like something like a fairy tale. Those genres are kind of small compared to my children's book, Sammy. So yeah, so that's the problem. Like finding ways to market my book, especially since COVID. Like before COVID, I had an idea to just go out there and I would just talk to people and stuff like that. But COVID came and it did help with the online part of it. But still, sometimes you want to physically sell your book. You know what I mean? You don't want to just depend on Amazon or say, go to Amazon, I'm on Amazon, because you get more money when you sell your book physically, obviously. But I want to try to get to schools.
Yes.
Get my books to schools. Now that schools are kind of back, kids are going back in. I want to try to look into some schools, even if I have to donate, because I've done that in the past. There are online groups that would donate into different schools, and I did that. So even if I can donate a one or two, and then the kids could tell their parents about buying, like that. You have to find ways. But I love it though. I mean, it's like not my day job, but just knowing you have something good out there that can help people understand, and people can share in your work, and I get good feedback from Sammy. I mean, Sam, we have a good rating on Amazon and Kindle, and people that have bought it physically, I have not no negative complaints or reviews. Everybody likes the story. They said it should be in schools, in elementary school, and stuff like that. So that gives me that makes me feel really good about it, that Sammy, it has a good message, apart from the fact that the people love the illustrations, the colors, but the story at the same time, it's really good. Mm-hmm. I tried to get my book into the Brooklyn Public Library, so I'm waiting. Wow. It's a lot of red tape for the libraries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I hope your book does get into the library. That would be certainly great. Annette, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. Best wishes in all your endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And for those of you who are watching, thank you. Until next time, stay inspired.